I have no
We've never been this high before.
No, look how fast it's going through. This is gonna take a while.
Oh my goodness. So we wanted to hop on here real quick and talk about our day in Istanbul. So we've been here for a week, but we're staying on the Asian side, and there's been a lot of curfews because of COVID, a lot of restrictions. Closures. It doesn't apply to tourists, but we've been wanting to be respectful because we don't feel like it's super fair that the locals have to stay in, but tourists can be out. So we've kind of laid low the first week, and today was our first big adventure to the European touristy side of Istanbul. And do you have one word?
First of all, it's beautiful.
Oh my goodness. It was quite an adventure to get there because it's only 14 miles away.
Yeah.
But it takes about an hour-ish with all the transfers and everything to get there. So
our plan was take a cab to the ferry, take the ferry to the European side, and then just walk to the Hagia Sophia.
Took the taxi over to like the port, the ferry port. Took a minute to navigate like which ferry, because there was it seemed to be lots of places to hop on.
Yeah, how do you get our Istanbul card, which is what you pay pretty much any public transportation.
Highly recommended if you come here.
Each ride on any form of transportation is 350 lira, so we went on the ferry and on the metro and on
the bus. There's like a
trolley, rail car, and it was all the same price no matter how far you're going.
Yeah, boarded the ferry, which was a beautiful
across the Bosphorus Strait.
Yes. Next time we'll have to bring some bread to throw off to the seagulls.
We got to the ferry port on the European side and just kind of started walking, and it was really pretty. Wasn't expecting, I guess, the types of architecture that we saw. You could tell it was old and worn, but it was still really beautiful. We were walking around, we found a place to eat, which was really, really good.
So good.
Turkish, it was
traditional
Turkish food. It was so good. I think Turkish food is my favorite right now.
It's for sure our new favorite right now, because it's just like grilled and
fresh.
Yeah.
So good. We finished eating. This is where it gets a little weird. We finished eating, and we were walking towards the Hagia Sophia.
But we're just a few blocks from that. We're trying to get to the Hagia Sophia. We're just a few blocks from it.
This really super polite man starts talking to us because he sees us kind of looking. We're looking at the sign for the cistern.
It was like a history marker,
cistern.
yeah.
And he's like, yeah, it's closed because of COVID, but I'll show you a couple things. So we're like, oh, it's a really nice man. Because, all right, let's follow him around. And so he shows us like the original mosque that the Hagia Sophia was modeled after. It was really small and like unassuming. It's cool because it's like the original one, the original Ottoman mosque.
Yeah. To be fair though, he did say, because when we were headed to the Hagia Sophia, it was during prayer time, so we wouldn't have been able to go anyway. So he did let us know it's not open right now, so you can't go. So while you wait, can I show you a couple places? And then if you want,
sure, yes.
And then if you want, you can stop by my shop. It was very no pressure. So we're like, this guy's really nice. We'll go. And so it's like a little mini. It was like a little mini tour. We're like, this is amazing. Yeah. He's telling us all this facts, all this information.
And then he stops and he gives us a spiel about 3 things you need to learn while you visit Turkey. It's like the art, the history. What did he say?
He was saying that
tour of the Bosphorus.
Tour of the Bosphorus, but how important it was for kids to learn the culture and how they make things. And we're like, yes, that's really important to us too. So he's like, come, let me show you my shop. I can teach your girls how
if they're gonna learn something about weaving or something.
So we're like, this is amazing. We want all of this cultural experience. By the way, it wasn't sketch. None of this
he
was
was
sketch.
super
We
nice.
didn't feel like uncomfortable or
unsafe.
uneasy or unsafe. So he takes us to his shop, which was just like a little shopping center.
Storefront.
It was a storefront with all these rugs and stuff, and then we go just like to the next room, and it's like more rugs and a couch. And
P.S. We're not rug shopping. We don't have a permanent home.
yes, we have no. So he tells us like we're his guests, sit down on this couch. I feel like if anyone else is watching this and they've experienced this, they're like, oh no, I know what's coming.
We sat down on the couch.
He brings over his nephew. He's introducing us to his family. He offers us tea. What kind of tea do you want?
Some amazing tea,
It
actually.
was really good. He called it COVID tea because he said it's really good for your throat, but it was like apple
Orange.
and cherry tea. It was really, really good. So we're sitting there and he starts talking about rugs and showing us. So then they're like displaying.
He starts saying, so hypothetically, if you were to buy a rug,
What size would
what
you
size
like?
would you like? We're not really in the market for...
Well, he didn't even say yet that we didn't have a home. But like he's bringing out all these, and then he has different people and they're bringing them out, and we're like, oh my
twirling
goodness,
the
this is
rugs
so
and the
beautiful.
ground.
Yeah. And he explains to us like how we're kind of at this point saying like, yeah, we're not really like, we weren't planning on spending a whole bunch of money on a rug today, or any money on a rug.
So he has us pick, like narrow down our favorite rugs, each of us. And we're just
The
playing
girls
along.
are picking some, we're
Yeah.
picking some, we're just kind of playing.
And then finally we're like, all right, so how much is that rug? It's like, that one there is $1,300.
He doesn't know that we've never, like, we don't spend money, like, on anything, especially, like, material things. We just don't. That's not our lifestyle. What was hilarious is at one point he's asked us what size our home is. And, like, he's like, what size rug? Like, do you have a small home, a big home? Like, what kind of rug would you like? And we're like, we have no home. Like, we've sold everything and we're traveling the world. And he kind of, like, has this look. And he's like stumped, and we're just like, he just kind of puts his head down, and then he's like, well, and then he starts talking about how he can ship anywhere, so like we can ship it, we can take it with us. He pivoted pretty quickly.
Yeah.
All the while,
Very good salesperson.
and he wasn't like, no like disrespect to the Turkish people, like he wasn't pushy. He kept telling us, he said, you're my good friend now. He's like, if you buy a rug from me, you'll be my best friend. But if you don't buy a rug from me, you'll still be my good friend. So he was never like...
And honestly, it's a skill set.
Yeah.
And I'm not good enough to flat out say no to somebody.
So did we end up with the rug?
Not a $1,300 rug. No, he said that he was going to blow our mind and give us a big deal. And he gave us 2 rugs for $1,700.
And we kept telling him, we're like, sir, like, I'm sure this is worth this. This is so beautiful.
We don't want to offend you, but we cannot
Yeah.
even come close. And he keeps asking for our number. He says he's going to go get his calculator. And I need to put in the lowest number that I will spend on a rug. And I just couldn't. Call a prayer came and he went downstairs. He's like, you guys figure out your best
talk about it.
number.
I'm
while
gonna
I
go pray. So then we're just sitting there, and at this point we're like, do we leave? Do we stay? Like, what do we do? So we ended up staying because we didn't want to be rude. And we're like, okay, we can buy maybe like the cheapest. So we're like, do you have a blanket? Do you have like a tiny? So then he starts bringing out, which are basically like prayer mats.
Yeah.
And we found a lot, but we found one that was like beautiful, and so we ended up
At a fraction of the price.
fraction of the price.
And he included a little bag so we can take it on the airplane and not use any space in our... And he gave us 2 free pillow covers.
The girls, it was gifts for the girls. So it's Turkish design, at least we were told.
It's really pretty.
It's beautiful. So it's a
It'll
memory.
be a memory and a lesson learned.
Lesson learned that unless you're wanting to buy some rugs, maybe don't agree to go into...
A rug shop. No matter how good the tea is.
The tea was amazing. We finally made it to the Hagia Sophia. It was so beautiful. We didn't realize how close it was to the Blue Mosque, that you could literally stand and see both
Yeah.
at the same time. There was hardly any people there, which was amazing. So to get into the Hagia Sophia, because it's now a mosque again, we had to cover our head. So we purchased these little disposable scarves, and we put them on before we went in.
Yeah, it was really cool to just see all of the history and the different influences, architecturally,
I don't know
religious symbols.
I don't know if there's anywhere else in the world, maybe, but just with such a mix of culture and religion. After that, we walked just another block or so because we really wanted to find some Turkish delight today. And so we found this cute little shop, went in, and immediately were offered Turkish delights.
Samples on samples.
Samples on samples on samples. Like, it was insane. Like, he even joked, he was like, she's not gonna want dinner tonight because she's eating so much.
Kept handing the kids.
Yeah, and it was amazing.
Here you go, princess.
It was so good, so amazing.
It was
the
really,
flavors.
I've never tasted anything like it, honestly. No. Yeah.
So we ended up buying a box of that. The guy that helped us was so kind. I think the owner of the shop was there. He was super kind.
I feel like since we've been here, we've stopped and talked to more people than we probably would have in a month back in the States.
Yeah.
Like, people are just like, they want to help, they want to talk to you, they want to have conversation.
He's been so personable, so polite. Even the guy that was selling us the rugs, he was very friendly, very kind. Like, we've just been blown away with just how friendly and hospitable the Turkish people are. Istanbul is quickly becoming our favorite city.
We've only been to a few outside of the US, but it's
pretty amazing. Unique New York. I look weird sitting on this thing. Super comfy. You're so far away from me. This guy wants us to buy rugs from